What's up, everyone? Welcome to Barstool Breakdown. Today is Sunday, October 8th, and we have a little bit of a different show for you today. Jonathan just got a new job and moved states, so congrats to Jonathan. So just me today. I'll do a quick breakdown, and then we have an interview with Za. It's me, Jonathan, and Za. It's an awesome interview. Goes a little bit longer than some of the other interviews, but it was a great interview. Za's the man. Check it out. Let's get it.
Get sturdy as fuck.
This is it.
I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you. And baby, even on the worst nights, I'm into you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Barstool Breakdown. I'm Frankie. I'm here alone today. Like I said, Jonathan got a new job, so I'm just going to quickly break down the week at Barstool. So, Jerry versus Dave, the $10,000 bet for after the Ryder Cup. Awesome video. If you guys didn't check that out, Jerry actually gets way ahead of Dave to a point where Jerry's playing out of his mind, and Dave just goes, all right, let's just do $20,000 on the last hole, basically. But Jerry still got to keep the $10,000 if he didn't win. So they tied the last hole. So Jerry got to keep the $10K, didn't get the $20K, but awesome video. Congrats to Jerry because he played out of his mind. Speaking of playing golf out of their mind, moving over to PMT versus Brooks because we got the 500,000 subs for PMT. Congrats to us, all those AWLs out there. What an unbelievable match that was. The PMT guys put Brooks like on his heels for the entire time. Hole 5 was the downfall. They only played 9. Hole 5 was the downfall. They were up 2 and they tied on that hole where you could just tell the wheels were starting to fall off. They lost, I think, number 6 and number 7 or maybe number 8. And they were all tied after 8 going into 9. And then they tied on that 9th hole and they did a putt off, caddy versus caddy. So it was Jersey Jerry versus Brooks's caddy. And the first putt off was a tie. And then Brooks's caddy won. So awesome video, though. I would definitely check that out. PFT played unbelievable. He played awesome golf. Hank also played well after the Ryder Cup, or I forget if it was, I guess it was the PMT golf stuff. Hank looked terrible at golf, and he did amazing for the last 2 golf videos that I've seen him in. So I take back anything I've ever said bad about Hank in golf, kind of, but great play by him. Speaking of PMT, the only other thing I wanted to mention on that was the Marlins man call. What a crazy call. If you didn't watch that, go listen to PMT. I believe it was on Friday. They called the Marlins man, and he started talking about how PFT's mom didn't suck his dick, and he wouldn't let PFT's mom suck his dick. It was just way too much. PFT was definitely kind of thrown off, and the guys were all laughing. It was hilarious. Shout out Marlins man. What a weirdo, but so funny. Love it. Moving on to Barstool Radio, the dog was on with his 10 years, and it was hilarious because, you know, KFC was like, oh, the dog finds his way on Barstool Radio again, which, of course, then he was like, well, you talked about me, so of course I'm going to come on here. So shout out to the dog for 10 years. Not looking for Dave and the dog, honestly, so keep doing what you're doing. Jet ski tased live at 40,000 subscribers for Healthy Debate on Barstool Radio. I don't know why they didn't put it on camera. I guess because it was on the Barstool main channel, but like TJ said on the Yak, he would have done it on the Yak channel. So I think we would have been fine if that happened. Not much more on radio. I'm going to move into Healthy Debate real quick just because we were just talking about that. Jet ski was just doing whatever he could, which I get it, dude. If I was going to get a raise like that, I'd be doing whatever. He decided he was going to take slaps from Gia every, I think it was 500 subs or something like that. And holy shit, I'm surprised he kept going with it because after the first slap, she rocked his ass. She hit him with like this part, not the hand. She hit him like this part and this part. Like it was right on his face. You could see his reaction. His eyes went like, because he just got rocked for a second there. And then of course he's like, maybe left hand to even it out. And she's like, well, it's going to be harder because I'm ambidextrous. So shout out Gia. What a hilarious segment that was. Every 500 subscribers or so, he got a nice smack to the face. Then the left side, then the double smack, then the 5-star to the back. Yeah, it was a fun episode to watch. Milk Phil went ahead and chugged his milk again. Almost had Rico throwing up. It was disgusting. That whole team again, like they would have been probably my beast of the week again. I probably would have put Jet Ski in there. That crew is just taking off. They're doing unbelievable. it's such a hodgepodge of people, honestly, that you would never thought that would be together. And then once they're together, it's just like fireworks. So shout out Rico, shout out the whole Healthy Debate team, shout out Jetski for getting his raise, and shout out to all of us for subscribing. I know I put like 2 or 3 accounts that I subscribed, and then also told my wife, told my sister, told everybody just subscribe for me. So shout out Healthy Debate, great new show. Moving down to the yak, I had a couple things on here. Brandon is petrified of mousetraps. So if you didn't know that already, pretty obvious. He absolutely ragdolls his mic stand during one of the episodes. I believe it was on Monday, because they put the mousetrap on the wheel, and it didn't even I don't even think it got him on that day. It didn't, like, the wheel didn't select him, but he absolutely destroyed his mic stand because he thought he might have to get mousetrapped, which was hilarious. Obviously, the Big Cat and the Swifties stuff, I don't even want to get into it. I think we all know where we all stand with that stuff. Like, I wish it just never happened, to be honest with you, even though Big Cat seems to be taking it in stride. So good for him, but getting death threats and all that stuff, I hate all that. So I really wish it never happened. We learned that Za's mom owns a mine, which was awesome. We talk about that in the interview. So go ahead and check that out next. So those mousetraps that we were talking about, they saved Brandon's life, because now he's on Zoloft and he's a lot less anxious, during the episodes and stuff. Hopefully it'll kick in and, he'll start to feel better. And the last thing I had was Nikki Smokes thinks that cocaine doesn't go into your bloodstream because it just goes straight to your dome. So another friend of the program, Nikki Smokes, wild take on that also, because I think he was seeing if Kate was allowed to do coke, which was insane since she's pregnant. But shout out Nikki Smokes, had his housewarming party yesterday. Rudy and Donnie were there, probably dumping sack with him right next to the Bible. So that's Nikki Smokes' favorite book, if you guys didn't know, is the Bible. So pretty awesome stuff there. Moving into Anus real quick, just a couple things on this. They're going to an anime pop-up con in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, I would go check that out with them. I'm sure that's going to be hilarious. It's in like a Holiday Inn or something like that. So that'll be great. And then the Mook put on outfit and haircut video should be coming out soon. I'm excited to see that. Big Cat said he was going to fund it if they wanted him to, which I'm sure they didn't take him up on that, because those guys never want to take any money, or they just spend crazy money of their own money to do these type of things for us. So I'm excited for that. Also, Mook, get your ass on this pod. Love you, brother. Moving on. I had one thing on Son of a Boy Dad that I thought was hilarious. Well, first of all, the live show, like the mic just cut out like for minutes and we didn't know what was going on, which was weird. But that's the Barstool way. You know how it goes. Everybody was complaining in the chat, but you guys know how it is. So just let it be. But I thought the funniest story, the only thing I really took off of Son of a Boy Dad to put on my notes here was Sass being at Skankfest and his dick fell out in front of the entire crowd because some guy, Colin, the comedian, pantsed him and didn't realize it was going to take his underwear with his shorts. So Sass said he was just sitting there. He was like throwing stuff into the crowd or whatever. And then all of a sudden he just felt a breeze on his cock and he was like, what the fuck is going on? Then he looked down and his pants were down. And there's a video of it where he like gets pantsed and then just like slowly pulls his pants back up. So I think that's just hilarious. And I love that Sass is getting into that, like, it's okay, we can make fun of ourselves type of thing. Because in the beginning, if you remember him on the yak and stuff, it was always like, I'm not doing that. I won't do that. No, like all this stuff. So he's really just come into his own. He's an awesome member of the team now. And, him and Roan, I miss them on the yak so much. So I have to watch Son of a Boy Dad now to catch up with them. All right. I appreciate you guys sticking along with my breakdown. I know that Jonathan wasn't here, but I did what I could. So hopefully it was a good enough breakdown for you guys. Next week, we'll have a better show for you. We have an awesome interview coming up with Za. He gives us a lot of information about different things in his life, different things in Barstool. It's an amazing story. Take a listen. And now, Za. All right. We're here with a very special guest. He's the producer of The Yak. He's got a ton of things on his plate. He's standing on tables, yelling at Smitty, and he's here with us now. We got the homie, Za. How you doing, my man?
Good, fellas. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor being on again. I think this is my second time with you guys, third time with you guys.
Ooh.
Second or third, I think.
First recorded.
First with us, yeah.
First with us, but
yeah.
Nah, wait. No, I did the.
What you thinking, like Stoolie Wednesdays?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Frankie.
Okay, that's okay. I guess it's same people, different programs, same people.
Yeah, right,
so I'm mixing those up. But
No,
that's what I was
Yeah.
referring to and all that.
That's what I
used to
figured.
pop
Yeah,
in. I used
you
to
were a
pop in
big
into
time
your
guy. I remember
spaces. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that was big. We appreciate you always being in there back in the day. Obviously you had a little bit more time then, so we understand that you're not in there as much now. But yeah, we started this podcast basically off of Stoolie Wednesday, kind of just we were like, dude, Barstool guys jump in here and nobody gets to hear it unless they listen back. So we're like, let's just start a podcast. We'll talk about what happened at the week, interview somebody, and go from there. So it's been all right. People were getting some good feedback from people, and
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've
keeping
had
it
on a
going.
few of your friends. We had TJ on, TJ's dad, of course,
Yeah.
Tim.
Oh, you've had Tim Hitchens on, Tim Vogt again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had him on the week that he was making schedules at Barstool, so it worked
All
out
right.
perfect.
Okay. Actually, yeah, topical. Yep.
Yeah,
You got it.
That was good. Nigel Timbo's my guy, man.
Yeah, I usually kind of get everything rolling with kind of like a very similar question with everyone, because it's kind of an ode to Stoolie's Clubhouse. When he started Stoolie Wednesday, he always asked people like, what got you into Barstool? And I think yours is more like of a definitely a different story, with you being from Zimbabwe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like going into that, like what got you into Barstool? Like how did that come across your radar? Like at first, like were you just always a Stoolie, like being away, or was it moving over? Or how'd that all play out?
No. So Cliff Notes version. I moved here for college. I went to college in Florida, in Tampa, and that area of Florida is a big. It's a big transplant city. So it's all the old cats. It's either all the retirees or a lot of people that are moving from the Northeast, down south to avoid the snow and stuff. So you'll find a lot of Northeasterners. You'll find a lot of cats from New York. You'll find a lot of cats from Massachusetts, Connecticut, you name it, all the way up here, Rhode Island, and all that nonsense. And so, yeah, so that was around about 2010. That was around about 2010. Barstool started in 2003, and I forgot when they went online. But being where I was, my roommates, people around me, my whole crew, I messed around with a bunch of international students. So it was either international students or guys from the Northeast. So my roommate was from the Northeast, and he's the one that he tried to introduce it to me early. So it was the blog days. Yeah, it was way after the newspaper. It was after the newspaper. It was the blog days. But I am not too much of a reader, and they hadn't started doing video content then. So it was just purely the blog when he tried to shove it down my throat. But I was kind of resistive, because I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. But I'm like, dude, I'm not going to sit here and read.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and read all this shit. Yeah,
Dude, I felt the same way, exactly the same way.
Fast forward a couple years. I think it was 2 years into my college, 2 or 3 years into my college time. The blackout tour came around to Tampa. I went to that.
You're like, hey, that's more my speed.
That's when I was like, all right, what the fuck is this Barstool thing that he's been sending me articles about and all that, and that I've been resisting and not doing. And that was I think it was a year or two after that is when they really started to do like actual video content, the early YouTube videos,
right,
and more consistently. And also then I think, and then what it was the rundown got me hooked. There was a summer rundown that they were doing during the summer, and at that time Dave was in Nantucket, so it was Feidelberg hosting it, kind of thing. So I checked it out. I was like, what the hell is this thing? And all that. Watched. I liked it. Watched it for a week. Then Dave came back the next week, and you know how those, I don't know if you remember the old school days, that day after he comes back from Nantucket, man, is working at Barstool. That is hell day right there. Your anxiety,
yeah, for sure.
your anxiety is through the roof. Everybody's getting it. He's got a list of names and crimes that he committed, kind of deal. So it was them kind of rundowns where he was just angry to be back from the island that I watched, and I just could not take my eyes off. I was like, who the hell is this fucking guy? He's crazy. He's out here.
I don't think I ever heard that part of this. I've heard your story a couple times. I don't think I've ever heard that it was like the rundown and stuff like that. Because I remember like you saying like Dave was like mad and stuff, and that got you into it because you like that stuff. And I was like, well, I remember saying this. I think it was on Stoolie Wednesday, where I was like, well, makes sense why you were up on the table yelling at Smitty then, because you were just following Dave's footsteps.
So the rundown was the first initial one that got me.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I looked, and then once I that week that he came back that's when I then started going back and watching, some of the earlier YouTube videos and all, and so like the big cat goes to the aquarium, all those earlier ones. And I was like, what the hell is this nonsense type of deal? And then yeah, from there I was a stoolie pretty much. So that's
awesome.
about that's
awesome.
what that's about that's like what 2014, 2015, I believe. So
Yeah,
so right
yeah, that's
before
early.
it was before Deflategate. Then the Deflategate saga is what they just that was living
That
through
took them
that.
off
That
for
was
sure.
that was unbelievable. Living through that was crazy.
I think it was Large when he was on. He was talking about. He's like, look at like Barstool kind of went with a stroke of luck with like all that Patriots stuff that was going on, and
Yeah.
Dave being the guy he is and the Patriots fan he is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it helped really just like take that thing to the moon, like he always
It
says.
was so. There's a couple things because people in life try. You look for commonality, right? So you try to rally around something, and when you grow organically, you can't really. It's you can't just be going for everybody. You know what I mean? Your target market can't be the entire country. The way Dave did it, he went after Boston first, which then expanded to Massachusetts, then to the Northeast. Then now with social media, I mean, people in my village are watching clips from like foreplay and stuff like that. It's now
That's
gone
crazy.
crazy,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
but
Sick.
it's he owned that whole. So the first thing that really got people together and around, he did a bunch of charity stuff during the Boston Marathon bombings, and that's what really
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what put him on the map in the city of Boston. And once you own an area, man, it's you expand from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no
I mean,
doubt.
you talked a little. Frankie keeps mentioning it, but for those that don't know, I guess it's like more of your hiring story. Like you go into what was it? You go into Barstool Radio, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden
So
there's a guy on a table.
what I just explained. Okay, so for people that are new to the Czar world, we'll go
Yeah.
through everything. So what I just explained was about 2013, 2014, the rundown and all that. I think the rundown started in 2014. So it's like 2014 is when I initially became a stoolie.
Yeah.
Uh, fast forward. When was that? Fast forward 3 years from there. So 2017, I'm graduating. I'm from Zimbabwe, born and raised. I'm Zimbabwean. I'm here in America on a visa. So fast forward 2017, I'm graduating with a master's degree in accounting and finance. And because of the immigration system, which we won't get political, I couldn't really. It was very tough to get to try and get jobs there. So it's got nothing to do with your ability. They want to hire you. You get interviewed. They want to hire you. Then they ask you, what's your status here? You mentioned, hey, I'm going to need a visa, and because the visa system is a lottery system. Companies don't want to invest. They don't want to invest in an employee only for the government to tell them, no, we're not going to give this motherfucker the visa.
Yeah.
It's
exactly,
a waste of
yeah.
time. It's a waste of time, money, and resources. So because of that, it was like bro, no one wanted to touch me with a 6-foot pole. So I was sending out resumes, doing interviews and all that, and it would just dead end. It's the second that my immigration status came up. So I had completely given up. My brother at the time, I have one older sibling. My brother at the time and his family were up in New Jersey temporarily. They were his wife is she had just finished her PhD, so she was doing a postdoctorate program. It was like three years. He had 3 years at Rutgers University, postdoctorate program there. So I gave up the dream in Florida. I loved Florida. I wanted to live in Florida permanently and all that. So I was like, you know what? But I
That's
don't
where I
have a
live right
job.
now.
Oh, nice. Where?
Naples. I live in Southwest.
Naples.
So
Nice.
talk about
Okay, there you go.
old
Yeah, no,
heads. My God.
I dated a girl in Bonita. I dated a girl down
Oh
in
shit, that's
Bonita.
where
So
I live. I moved to Naples from Bonita just last year,
Oh,
2 years
okay.
ago. So
And I was over in Bonita a lot, but that's a story for
nice.
another day. Yeah. So dead end. My brother's up here. I'm like, you know what? Dude, I can't. I don't have a job, so I can't pay rent. I'm not going to re-sign my lease and all that. Let me dip out. Let me dip out. Let me close things down here, and then fly up to go crash on my brother's couch. He just had his first. They just had their second kid. Their second. My niece. She, I believe, was like a year old then. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go hang out with my niece and nephew for like a month or so, then go back home to Zimbabwe and start a new life kind of deal. So my lease ends on a Friday. Then my flight out to New Jersey is on Thursday. The following week kind of deal. So there was a little
Got it.
period where I had no place to live. So during that period, I then my roommate from college, I went and he was still in Tampa. He was working in Tampa. He's an accountant. So I was like, dude, let me crash on your couch for a week because I got that 1 week before I dip out to my brother's place and all, and and then I'm out. So I was like, yeah, we'll hang out for a week kind of deal. So he heard that. It was kind of like my goodbye in everybody's mind. I was going back to Zimbabwe forever. So he took some
Yeah.
time off work. He took like 2 or 3 days towards the back where he was just chilling at home and we were hanging out and all that. And that so happened to be the day, one of those days. I forgot which days. I think it was like the Wednesday. I think it was a Wednesday. Oh, I forgot what day it was specifically. Just so happened to be, or like Tuesday, the day before. It so happened to be one of the days that Peter Rosenberg, that guy, that the New York radio guy, attacked Barstool
Yeah.
for not having black fans, kind of thing. I forgot what that
Right,
actual
I remember
story
that.
was. Went after Barstool for not having thingy. So we were just sitting there on the couch. It was like his first day off. We're sitting there on the couch. They're talking about it on radio now. We're sitting there on the couch, just chilling, doing what people
Yeah.
do on their days off, smoking weed. We have Barstool radio on.
Yeah,
and,
just
we're probably,
vibing. Yeah.
probably lying to each other about Brady being the greatest, this, that, you know what guys do, kind of thing. So we're listening. Then him as a joke, we're just looking at each other. He's like, him as a joke. He's like, dude, you got to call in. You got to call in and defend the thing. And I'm like, we're laughing. It's like, nah, but dude, you really got to call in.
Yeah.
I was like, dude. I was like, nah, dude, no one needs to, even if I call in, no one's gonna pick up, and they're gonna. It's like, nah, dude, you gotta call in. So he kept pressing. I was just like, yeah, trying to brush it off, but to shut the motherfucker up because he just would not shut up. I was like, all right, dude, I'll call in. So I had zero plan, zero plan. Literally, it was just I literally was calling in
To shut
to
your
keep
boy
them
up.
quiet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I
was
call
gonna
in.
say, you owe this dude everything.
Yeah, I literally.
I mean, Jesus
No, I
Christ.
mean we joke about this till this day. We joke about it till
I'm
this day.
sure.
So I call in, and I have nothing prepared because again I was calling in to shut him up. I didn't want to go on radio or anything like that. So there was like 2 or 3 rings, it's like 2, 3 rings. Then the screener picks up Radio Bren. It was Radio Bren at that time. He picks up. He's like, "Yo, Barstool Radio, what's your name? What you calling about? Where you from?" I was like, "Huh?" He's like, Barstool. Was like, "What's your name? Where you from? What do you?" I'm like, "Za. I'm from Zimbabwe. Za from Zimbabwe. Za from Zimbabwe." And I'm like, I'm calling in to defend." I said something stupid. Then he's just like, all right, I'll put you on hold. Then he didn't write anything in the description. He just wrote ZA/from Zimbabwe on the thing.
Oh, shit.
I actually went back once I got there. I went back and I looked at the footage, from that day. That's the only thing that I've ever gone back and really looked. Actually, I wasn't really, because I didn't listen to the call conversation, but I just went back to go look at the footage.
Right.
One of the only things I've ever looked back on that I do, that I've been a part of, that I do. I hate how I sound, how I look, and all that. So I don't watch anything that I'm in. So I went back and I looked, and you can see the moment Dave is looking at the computer. He's looking at the call list, and he's probably reading Jack, Illinois, this,
Right,
Mike,
Boston,
that, Sam, this, that. Then he sees, you can see his face. It's like it was mid conversation. He wasn't even listening to what KFC and Coley, I think it was KFC and Coley on that day. They were talking. He wasn't even listening. Then sees it, and then he just picks it up, and he's like, "Za from Zimbabwe," and then the rest is on. The rest is on there for people to see. So I'm not too long
sure.
But yeah, that's how we got hired. Sorry, that was a bit long winded, but
No,
that's
you're
actually
good.
the full.
You're good.
We went through the full process.
No, but that's what we want. I mean, that's what we do this for, because there's people that, you know, like I said, they join Stooley Wednesday sometimes, whatever, but this is for them to like actually hear that story and be able to go back and listen if they want to. So that was perfect. Speaking of that, what is your favorite show that you've ever done? Is it Breakfast?
Ooh. Actually, you know what? Before I go there, can I just add a little bit more to the previous thing that we're talking about? 'Cause
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure,
there
dude.
was a window where I got very nervous, and he just leaves you. It's like, and I just noticed that once you know him, and once you're now on the other side, you know that this is just how Dave operates, because he does that, right? So phone comes in, all that nonsense. They think I am lying. They think I'm lying about that. I think I'm lying about that. And then he asks the question. He's like, "Yo, where's tell me the countries." Coley's the one that he's like, "All right, I'm going to get this guy. Tell me the countries that border Zimbabwe." And I'm like, "Oh, Zambia, north, east is Mozambique, South Africa, south." I said it fast, confidently. They're like, "Okay, this guy said it. He answered quick, confident, and he's nailing them. Maybe he actually is from there." And then they're like, "All right, send a picture."
Right.
Send a picture, and all that nonsense. I DM a picture literally right after I get off. I DM a picture with a little thing, one of those, "I'm here today. I am Zai."
Today's newspaper type shit.
That bullshit. That bullshit. Then it's like 30 minutes after Barstool Radio ends, all of a sudden I go on my Twitter. So it was before they hadn't known when they put out the clips and all that, they didn't know my handle or whatever and all that. So they hadn't really figured out. But 30 minutes after it ends, I go on my Twitter, and then it's just KFC Barstool follows, just followed. Nate Barstool followed. So everyone then just started following, kind of thing. Now,
Yeah.
holy
It's
fuck,
fucking
this
awesome.
is crazy. This is crazy. Then the next day, they opened the show. They opened the show with the whole, "Yep, we verified this guy actually is from Zimbabwe. You should call back in today." And then I called in, and then that's when we made the plans. It was a Wednesday, I believe. I was flying out on Friday, and that's when I was like, "Yo, you know what? It's actually funny. I'm actually coming up to New York. I'm actually coming up to New York in a couple of days." And that's when KFC was like, "Oh, you should come to the office." I come to the office. You guys, that's the thing that you were talking about, the jumping on the table nonsense.
Yeah,
that
didn't
happens.
someone tell you that? That wasn't someone like, "Yeah, you just gotta like get up, get in there, and jump on the table or something."
So they were like, do something crazy, jump on a table. I was cornered by it was young page views with the Stool Scenes camera. Caleb, I believe, was in the room. Caleb, I might have been in the room. Hank and Roan. And it was Roan. It was Roan's idea.
Of course it was Roan.
Because of Roan. Roan, I don't know if I don't think he probably realizes or remembers or whatever, but he's the one that planted the jump on the table thing in my head, kind of thing. So I'm greatly appreciative to him, and he probably has no idea. Yeah, so we do that, do the car wash, spend the day at the office. I do everything, meet everybody. On my way out, Dave was just like, "Okay, we'll get in touch."
Yeah.
What does that mean, dude? So we leave. I leave. I go. We'll get in touch. What does that mean? 2 days, 3 days later, I think KFC is the one that DM'd me. KFC DM'd me. He's like, "Dude, I think we'll be seeing each other again soon." I'm like, "All right, what does that mean?" My time is running out when my student visa had expired at the time, and they give you from the day it expires, they give you 60 days to leave the country. So I was in my 60 days right there. So where I was at my brother's house, that's what I was using the 60 days to just to hang out with my brother and all that. So my time had expired. I don't hear nothing from Dave. Nothing from Dave for I think it was like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because it was during the summer. He had come back to New York for something, and that's when we did the initial jump on the table thing. He wasn't fully back from Nantucket yet. So he did that. Then he went back to Nantucket for another 2 weeks. And when he's on an island, I mean, he's not doing anything like that. So I didn't know that at the time. So I'm just sitting there, literally just sitting there. We are at the point where I hadn't heard from Dave. We're 2 days away from saying, all right, in 2 days' time, I'm gonna buy my ticket to go home.
Yeah.
Type of deal is when I hear, just chilling at my brother's house. We're gonna buy the ticket on like a Saturday. Dave DMs me on Thursday.
Yeah.
Literally like it's nothing. Like, you know, we're having a conversation, mid-conversation, no explanation, no nothing. He's like, you start on Monday.
Just gave it to me.
Oh
like that.
shit!
Like, dude.
Oh my god!
He's like, you start Monday. Come into the office Monday. You start Monday. I'm like, dude, I have just been dying from fucking anxiety these past 2-3 weeks. I'm not even gonna get an explanation or whatever. All I'm gonna get is you start Monday. But you know, it works
out.
It was a
And
salary
I'm
yeah,
run, so I was like, all right,
and
I'm
you
who
started
am I to
Monday,
complain?
yeah, I
I
was
like,
gonna
it started Monday. Yeah, I started Monday.
Yeah,
But yeah, sorry, that was what I wanted to fill in. And your question was, what's
No,
the
that's
favorite thing
perfect.
what's the favorite thing I've ever done at Barstool?
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
worked on, been on, anything. I just want to like just in general.
Favorite project, and it's not even close. I don't think anything will come to this. It has a special place in my heart. The Cousins. The Cousins is a favorite thing.
I
The
forgot
Cousins, the
about
radio show,
Yeah.
is my favorite project that I've ever worked on at Barstool. That was fun,
Yeah.
man. My two old guys. It was like I was like the intern. I was their babysitter.
If it wasn't for Glenny Balls, man, it might still be going.
Intern, right?
Yeah.
I love
Cousin
when
Mike.
Mr. Portnoy brings that up like every
I love
time he
it.
goes on anything Barstool. Glenny will never be able to get away from that.
Glenny
Ever.
Balls tag time show. It's like, no, Mr. Portnoy, it was serious going that messed up everything. It's just the infrastructure involved. The serious infrastructure was so easy. So we could do it easier. I mean, it was in theory meant to be so easy. It was put on a headset, press the button, wait for the color to turn whatever color it is. Or actually, no, it was like press the button, and I think you put the channel. It was the same channel too, the same channel on there. But for some reason, it was a daily show. For some reason, somehow, some why, that easy process, Mike Portnoy managed to mess that up every single day. We'll call him tech support every single day.
Of course he was. Yeah. Well, he was also getting his mail set on fire and stuff like that at the time.
Too.
Yeah.
Guy's a nightmare. But yeah, no,
You know, like,
that's
going
hands down, and hands down my favorite. The yak is getting up there. The yak is getting up there now.
Yeah.
Of course.
Barstool Classic, I love doing. Barstool Classic, I love doing. The travel part of it sucks. So the flying to get to the places, because that eliminates that's on the. So we play on Monday, so that means that Sunday is the travel day, and depending on how hard it is, depending on where you're going and how hard it is to get there, that takes up more of your Sunday.
Yeah.
Than
Right.
so like, for example, if we're playing in Boston on Monday, I leave on Sunday night. Whereas if the classic is in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma may be close, but those are tough places to get to. That takes the entire Sunday as a travel day.
Right. Yeah, you bring up the yak, and I think I mean, you obviously have some legendary moments on the yak now. It's probably how like most of the listeners are familiar with you, and like where you get like I don't know, definitely like how I became a ZA fan was from the yak. But the case races and specifically the sweating, you always just run hot. You can't keep that paint on for nothing.
Dude, I don't know what it is, man. I'm the sweatiest. My roommate declared me the sweatiest man in America. I have not met anyone. I have not even Dana, who thinks that he sweats when he has nothing on me. So it's
you're welcome to Florida anytime to have a sweat off with me, brother. That's the
one part I hated. One part I hated about Florida. So I love Florida. I love Florida because it was cheap. But you would never catch me outside. You would never. I was always in climate controlled. You won't see me like this whole let's go to the outdoor bar. I lived in Tampa.
Nope.
I lived in Tampa for 7 years. I probably only went to Clearwater Beach during the day once or twice,
Yeah.
type of deal. It's crazy.
Dude, my
But yeah, no,
wife loves the beach, and I think I've been there like 2 times in the last 3 years. So, I mean,
yeah, no, I
if that means
I ain't
anything,
about it. I ain't about it. But no, I've always said if I ever win the lotto, that's the one thing. That's the first thing I get figured out. It's genetic. It's genetic. I went to
Oh, for sure.
my father. My father's a doctor, so
Okay.
Oh, shit.
he sent me to a couple of his colleagues, and they were like, "It's genetic." And I was like, "All right, if it's that, then let's." It's not an easy fix. Let me just it's sweat. People
Yeah.
sweat.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
it's-
I just sweat.
Yeah,
more
my
and more.
it's always hilarious when like you
It's
come
insane.
in with a face full of pain, and then
yeah.
yeah, then
My
like going through
adrenaline
the episode,
goes
yeah.
if I start drinking. I could crack open a beer now. I'll start going. So
It's crazy.
if my adrenaline goes, I just start.
It's
Same.
time to-
Start
well,
going,
especially
man.
in a competitive environment like
literally
that too.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say I literally yell at my kids sometimes, and I start sweating from my back and my head, and I'm like, "Oh my god, dude!" I'm literally just like telling them to like separate. That's all I'm doing, and I'm soaking with sweat here. So
And then
totally
with
feel
me,
you on that. But
it's the humidity that
Yeah,
so like
for
sure.
I can live in Arizona very comfortably. It's one of my favorite places. I can be in 100 to 110 degree outside dry heat, but the second the dew point is above 55, and the humidity is like 60%, I'm in trouble. I don't even need to do anything.
How is it in
I could
Zimbabwe?
go stand outside. You know what? Zimbabwe, especially the town that I'm from, the area that I'm from, it is the most beautiful weather on the planet
Really?
I've ever experienced. It's kind of the
Wow.
place that I can compare Harare's weather to the closest here in America that I've been to, San Diego. Our
Yep.
summers
Oh
are
shit!
so it's
The
dry
best
heat.
weather.
Our summers a very, very extremely hot summer day is like mid 90s.
Yep.
An extremely cold winter day is 30s, 40s.
Right.
So you're messing around. You're playing around that 55. You're playing around that 55 to 75, 80 type of weather.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
90% of the year kind of deal. It's beautiful
spent-
weather in Zimbabwe.
I spent 5 years out in San Diego, and yeah, I mean, there's no weather I miss more than San Diego's. It's just always
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
no matter what. You walk outside, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, there no real natural disasters.
No,
It's
nothing.
Yeah, it's
the
great.
eastern part of the country floods
Right.
in
Yeah.
the rainy season, but it's great weather, man.
Never had any issues
Yeah,
out
that's
there
awesome.
for sure.
I miss it.
You brought up your dad was a doctor, but I had written down here from the Yak. You said your mom runs a mine.
Gold
So-
mining. Yeah.
Yeah, the gold mine. I saw the pictures and everything. That was insane. I was like, wait, this. I thought at first you said your mom was in the mine, like trying to find the shit. Then you said she ran the mine. I was like, holy shit. Have you been there?
No,
Like,
so
is it like
she
new?
doesn't
or-
even she doesn't run. Actually, in theory, she doesn't run the mine. She owns the mine.
Right.
She has a
Oh,
guy.
okay. All right.
She has a-
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
She has
Gotcha.
a guy doing the yeah. No, we've so they're retired, man. Retired. So my parents are retired now. They
Right.
old. They both north of 70. But even if you're retired, you're still a person. You still have 24 hours. You still have 24
course.
hours every
yeah.
single day to film, man. So if you don't go to work and just sit on your couch all day, you can't do that. So they picked up a little. She picked up a little activity to keep her happy,
Yeah, that's awesome.
to keep her busy in her retirement, and hopefully it retires her 2 sons.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's what we're waiting.
You only got to strike gold once, right?
Yeah,
That's oh
exactly.
my brother. And that's the thing about gold mining. It's getting to the belt. They call them the belts, the little part of the mountain or part of the rock that has the actual gold. You have to
Yeah.
dig to get to that. The digging to get to that is what's expensive, the explosive and all that.
Yeah.
But once you get to that good stuff, and the good stuff starts coming out, and it actually has some good stuff in there, man. Ooh.
I'll roll into something
That's
else
sick,
here.
though, dude.
I mean, when
Yeah.
we mentioned we had on Large and we spoke with him, he mentioned that, you guys, Uncle Za, you became a big part of that family. Whenever you wanted to come over,
Love
like,
it.
text him,
Yeah, I need
come
to
over
actually.
for a home
I'm
meal.
I'm in New York next week, so I might. I need to.
Yeah, you got to go.
See if they're around and go to their house.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you have that relationship, which I guess like a lot of people who like don't follow Barstool that closely probably wouldn't assume like, oh my God, like Large and Zara best friends. Like, who else like have you become so close with at the company like throughout your time with Barstool? Like, who's your main guys there right now?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, Large, I'm very very close with Large's family. I go to their house a lot. Very very close with his entire family. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with everybody. I've got
Right.
different relationships with different
For sure.
cats. So like back in my party days, yeah, I mean you would find Glenny Balls, and Marty Mush, myself, and a few others tearing up Hoboken. But life happened
Right.
in all our three lives.
Yeah.
Some are now tied down, and
Yeah. Some are the king of
some are now
OnlyFans.
some are now in
Facts.
Chicago. So some are now have moved on from regular small town girls to international models and all that.
There
And
it is.
life happens. Life happens in life. But yeah. So them cats, the cats in Chicago. Spider's my guy.
Hell yeah.
Tech guy Andrew. Shout out to him. Congratulations to him and his
TGA.
fiance. I'm going to his. That's actually why I'm in New York next week. I'm going to his wedding.
Oh,
Congratulations
that's
to him and his
awesome.
Oh,
fiance.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. So him, very very close with him. He helped me. Actually, I want to give a shout out to him. He helped me a lot when I started at Barstool. I owe him a lot. He helped me a lot. He taught me a lot of actually the stuff that I do on the Yak and that I did for Barstool Breakfast and stuff like that. Tech guy Andrew taught me everything that I
That's
know.
awesome.
Him and Pete
He's one of
helped
the
me out a lot.
busiest dudes at the company, it seems, for sure. When I was at the
So
Dozen Live show in Chicago, TGA was sitting there like he was like on the move around, like pointing shit out. Like every time I got up to go get a new high noon or go to the bathroom, he was up doing something different. And at the end, I was like, yo, TGA, I was like, hey, appreciate you, man. Like, I'm sure this went great because of you. And he's like, I hope so. I hope so. And I just like in my head, I was thinking, I'm like, this dude didn't sit down for like 2 straight hours. He was sitting there, do this, do that, like walking around. Maybe he did. I just didn't see him. But I mean, people get on his ass
he's
because
a
he's, I
monster.
guess, kind of a hard ass, but he's the man.
He's no, but you got to do that. He's a monster. He's. I
Exactly.
know. I
Yeah.
know. I forgot where it was. I forgot where it was that Dave said it about what's it called about Pete. He's like, I hate him, but he's probably the most important employee here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's
those
Pete.
tech guys.
Andrew's an extension of Pete.
Right. Yeah.
With
No, for sure.
if them two go, every if those two guys go, the company collapses pretty much. I think. Because that's the thing about tech, right?
I can,
So the stuff that you see, so like the studio stuff,
Mhm.
that's what will go. So like, I mean, we can put up cell phone videos, but like
Yeah.
the studio stuff,
Yeah.
the rundown will have to go back to Skype and all that nonsense. And it's and how technology works, especially like offices like that, studio spaces, is you you can't just swap out a guy. You can't just swap out a tech guy because the office is built and wired in a specific way. So
the way they do it, yeah.
An error might occur if you don't know the blueprint of your wires. If an error occurs, you have to rip up the entire office and start from
Yep.
scratch to find that one wire that's broken. And that's why Pete and Andrew are very important in that sense. Is that
I don't think people
they built
understand
those
that
offices.
shit because like I worked for 5 years after college. I worked for a telecommunications company where we did that exact shit where we sold phone, voice and voice and internet services, and then we added TV services. If you weren't working there when we started, you just were confused as shit
You
because it was
are,
so
yeah.
hard to understand all the wires and all that stuff. So like as much as I've definitely like shouted out and been like, dude, thanks Pete, way to fuck up the audio or whatever. I know if he goes, there's going to be 30,000 more problems, but you got to give
Yeah,
shit to Pete when you
it's
can, of course.
yeah,
as
of
a
course. I
stoolie.
mean, that's the nature of that's the nature of the business and all that. But those guys, man, it's through that working on the radio stuff and helping them with that. And I used to just watch Andrews when I realized, holy fuck, these guys literally unreal. So yeah, Andrew, Balls. I'm cool. I'm cool with everybody.
Yeah, right.
I'm cool with
Yeah, for sure.
tight tests. But I like to I like to keep my circles different. So
Hell yeah.
my work time, my work friends and work time rarely. I mean, they will. It's not like I go out of my way.
Right.
So it's like if I'm hanging out, like watching the Arsenal game at an Arsenal bar with my non-work friends, and someone from work is like is
Right.
in the area, I'm not like gonna tell them no, fuck off. I'm hanging out with my non-work friends, but it's like
Yeah.
you know,
Right. I got you.
I usually don't mix oil and water.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Do you have a roommate in Chicago?
No.
Well, who the
I
hell are you
had
gonna bang
three.
now?
My last situation. That's why I don't have no roommates. My last situation. I had 3 roommates. So it was a 4-bedroom when I was in New York.
Yeah, we're
New
aware.
York
We
area.
know
I was like,
the
"Oh,
situation. We listen to the
Yeah.
yak.
I was like, nah, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So it's just me and the TV. This couch and this is where I spend my
That's all you
time.
need,
I'm
man.
on this couch right here. I literally just
Oh,
I
yeah.
went in, I took out the ring light and the camera, whipped out my laptop. The second we're done here, I'm literally just gonna close this, turn off this light, and
turn it
TV's
back
going
on.
back on.
TV.
I
Hell yeah,
hear you.
dude. I'm with you.
I have a question, kind of goes into what Frankie was just saying, talking about who the hell you're gonna bang. I'm not sure there's a ton of people that are super aware of when does horny hours begin? Like, is there a set time for horny hours? Like, I need to get this down. I can't be in DMs at the wrong time. I can't be sending off tweets at the wrong time. I gotta let the people know when horny hours goes.
So there's no specific start time. However, you gotta respect the what's the word? What's the English word?
Well, give us the Zimbabwean word.
You gotta respect this. I guess the sanctity of life. You gotta respect that. People
that
live
works, yeah.
lives and all that. Give people time to do other things. So anything before 8 p.m. is unacceptable.
Okay.
Anything before 8 p.m. is unacceptable. After that, anything flies. Give people time to eat dinner and all that. But once they're now sitting on their couches, about to turn on like The Bachelor and stuff, is when you can start.
That's when
you can start perving over. Yeah, when you can start perving over people, and it's a bit more socially acceptable.
I hear you. Hey, you can't be texting them at 4 p.m. be like, well, what's up, sweet chicks? Like, I just got
no. People like at work, you don't know who's walking right behind them. Nah, less of that. It's you want to catch them. Ideal horny hour conditions. It's usually depending on what kind of person you are. If you're like one of those late bird, you'll have your glass of wine right there on the side, your little blanket watching TV, or you're in your bed scrolling and all. Those are the ideal conditions. And that usually occurs after 8 p.m.
All right, I just put that in my notes as I did.
I was going to say, did you watch Jonathan? He was writing notes that whole time.
And by the way, what happens in horny hours, man? It's we don't shame. There's no shame in the horny hours time. That's when we let all our freakish thoughts, freakish minds go out.
Yeah, you gotta
let that freak out. I mean, the freak's been suppressed from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m.
Right? Yeah, it's like
you gotta let off some steam.
For a little time there. Yeah, that's when all the normal people are in bed. It's freak hours now. I got you.
No, you gotta let off some steam.
I hear you. Yeah, well,
I have a couple of questions for you guys.
Sure, yeah.
How is this going? Do you like this format better than the spaces format that you guys ran?
I think
Stooley's Wednesday. Which formats do you prefer? What's working better?
I think Stooley Wednesday is definitely like super interactive, but that's also Stooley's Clubhouse. He's the one that originated that. And so it's Neil.
Neil, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Is he? I know he's full time with us now. But he was.
He lives in
Fuck was
California.
that? I think someone fell. Yeah, he'd come into the office. I think I've met him once or twice. I met him twice or so.
Yeah, he was up
Trying
there
to
for the
figure out. Trying to
dozen, I
figure out
think,
when.
and then some other time company
A
meeting. I
company
think.
meeting. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a company meeting he came up for, and then he was the one that drank the most of the company party, and then he went back
Mhm.
up for the dozen while they were recording
Actually,
for that.
where was
So
I for that? Where was I for that? I used to go wild at the company parties, but
Yeah.
the problem with Barstool is you can't go wild now because everybody's just standing. Everybody's standing in a corner with their high noon,
Yeah, with the camera.
pretending to be on Twitter, but they got
Video.
they're on high noon looking around, just waiting for someone to act a fool.
They
It's like,
knew
how
it,
do you?
yeah.
I mean, I'm a fool. If you tell me we're gonna go party, we're gonna go to a happy hour. Of
Yeah,
course, I'm gonna
it's
be
time
a
to
fool. I'm a
party.
fool. We can't be fool shaming if we
Yeah, no fool
provide
shaming, no horny shaming. It's probably after
if
8
we
p.m.
provide
too.
conditions that are conducive for fooling around. It's like we're at a bar. What are you
Right.
gonna shame me because I'm drunk at a bar?
Yeah, absolutely. But going into like more to answer your question, I think so. Like the Stoolie Wednesday, that kind of got me like more into Barstool when I started joining that and like getting to talk with other Stoolies, and it kind of made me recognize like there's like more people that just want to hear like the behind the scenes stories of like Barstool guys. So then Frankie and I, we went to the Dozen live event and the Dozen finale in Chicago. You know, had beers with all the guys. You know, got to meet Roan and PFT and Rico and our boy Cruz, who's a Chicago guy. Hung out with him for the night, but I mean Frankie and I were
I recognize that name
Cruz Oxenrider.
on
He helped
Twitter.
out.
He used to work with like Mincy and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and he
That's why I
worked with
recognize
Tim
that name.
Tebow's team before Barstool or whatever. So
Yeah. But we just had the idea. It was like maybe we just got to do it. Like we'll do a recap show of our favorite Barstool stuff through the week. Maybe we get someone from behind the scenes on, hear their story more, and just give more insight to Stoolies on stuff like maybe they've just been wondering. Like there's a small market for it now, but I think as we keep going, and the main thing is
Yeah.
consistency and just putting it
Keep
out
doing
there
it.
and like
Yeah.
throwing it into the void and
It's
it'll pick up. We've had the episodes range from 100 views to 800. So like
yeah,
mm,
it'll trickle, but the consistency is the key, and we're having a blast doing it, especially just getting to talk to some of our favorite
I was
guys
gonna
like
say
you.
we get to like meet people that we literally have been like either DMing with or tweeting about or
on
back
the
and forth. So
internet.
it's sick because like in Chicago, I said to Jonathan, I'm like, dude, Neil has been talking to me about like this Stoolie Wednesday could be a podcast because of how much we do and whatever. It's obviously kind of weird because it's on Spaces, even though it's recorded. Like, who's gonna go back and listen to that? So I was like, dude, let's just do a recap show. We'll try to get,
And
I
interviews.
confirmed with like Cruz and Fasoli and all these guys behind the scenes that they would come on. And I was like, shit, if we can get bigger guys on, we'll do that too, and we'll just do as much as we can, and try to just show people who's working at Barstool and all this stuff. And I said the same thing that you guys both said. I was like, consistency is all I care about. If we put out an episode, it's 120 views. Don't think like next week, like, fuck it, no one's gonna watch it. Like, let's just put it out and see what the fuck happens. So,
and we have fun with like
that's what we've been
we have
doing.
fun with like our segments and stuff too. Like I'm not sure if you're super familiar, but like the Barstool Beast has been like we get a little playback from Barstool
I
guys.
saw your clip. So I see your clip. So I'm not. I have ADD.
you're
I find it very tough to sit down. The only thing that I sit down and watch for more than 30 minutes, an hour on one thing is probably live sport. That's it.
Yeah, right.
I don't listen to podcasts. I'm a clips guy, so I'm a TikTok. I'm those dead. What do you call it? The Gen X, the Gen Z brain.
Yeah.
They describe that's me. You have 10 seconds with me, then I'm on to the next.
I hear you.
Even with what's it called? Even with my horny hour stuff. Now I used to be a long form. I used to be a long form guy, but now I'm in and out of there. 1 minute, 2 minutes. All right, we're on to the next bird. We're on to the next bird. We're on to the next bird. Keep it moving, man. So, but I've been seeing the clips. You guys are doing fantastic, man. And let me tell you,
we appreciate it.
Don't do it for the love of the game. That's the content. The content game. Do it for the love of the thing. Don't even look at the numbers. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Enjoy it. The numbers will come. They will come by themselves. And don't do it primarily for the numbers.
No, absolutely.
No,
We're having a blast doing
it. It's not for it.
It's so much. It's a good time. When I first joined Stoolie Wednesday, like I was going into it like, damn, I'm the only guy I know that like really like watches all this Barstool shit. And then like I go to Stoolie Wednesday, I'm like, oh shoot, there's like 40, 50, 60 other people who are just like me. So people like that consume all this, and like, man, I love Barstool too. So like, it's just fun to chop it up about it and like get into it.
There you
And
go.
yeah, now that I'm up in Toledo, I'm definitely gonna be making some more trips to Chicago because I'm only like 3
How
hours
far?
away
Yeah,
now, too.
Ohio's right next, right?
Yeah. I'm only 3 hours
If
away. I
you-
was 8 hours away, but yeah, 3 hours now.
If you're ever in the area, both of y'all, if you're ever in the area, let me know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Grab a drink
For
at
sure.
the drink at the bar or something.
Yeah, no
just
doubt, no doubt.
And another question,
Sure.
guest wise, who's your dream guest? on here?
For me and my 1-1, I would probably say my 1-1's Roan. I'm just
Okay.
just like having meeting like it being like I met Roan like in Chicago, so sat there and topped up with him and Danny Conrad, but just like his range of talents and stuff I've always been interested in, from hip hopping to introducing to just being, a very good like vocalist and like being able to talk to anybody and chop it up with like, a range of people from NBA players to OnlyFans models, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like he hits it all. Like he hits it right in the head. But probably him for us right now. Our biggest guest was probably Frank the Tank. I guess he was on. We had him on for a short interview, but like that was like our biggest. I guess. But yeah, 1-1 for me would probably be Ron right now.
Bro, arguably,
Yeah, I would
mean,
say
right now in terms of relevancy, views, all that nonsense. I mean, other metrics that people might look at might say otherwise, but he's and this I don't mean this disrespectfully to anyone or whatever, but he is right now he's up there. He's I mean he's the guy is people are coming to Met stadiums to watch him instead of watching
Oh yeah, Frank. Yeah,
watching the game. He's
for
like
sure.
on that Dave. He's on the
Yeah.
he's I mean, Dave, the thing about Dave is he crosses so many borders and so many boundaries. But in sports, I don't think there's anyone bigger in sports than Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
There's
I
no-
thought
there's no
that
sports
video.
fan-
Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, go ahead.
I was gonna say I thought Frank the Tank's video was the one that was gonna just like skyrocket us because of his star basically, but didn't do too well. It did decent, whatever. Which again, that was one of the things that we could have just been like, all right, dude, let's just
Nah,
let's just.
but what?
But it was like,
and
you know
again,
what?
I
We
don't
love
mean
this.
I don't mean
Love
this
it,
I don't
yeah.
mean this disrespectfully. But for example, why? What do people want to see? What do people want to see for Frank? They want to see him melt down about the Mets.
Yep.
They
Right,
want to
yeah.
see him melt down about the Mets. You weren't
Yep.
melting down about the Mets here,
Nope.
which is. But in terms of relevancy, man, he is him.
up top.
He's doing very well. Jack Mac on Twitter, absolutely.
Yep, we
another
had him on
murders
here
it.
too.
Yeah, another
He
former friend of the show.
Murders on Twitter, on TikTok. He's unbelievable on TikTok.
Yeah, he's awesome. His short series on YouTube's doing decent too. It's journalism. I've really enjoyed.
Oh,
those
he's doing.
as well.
Yeah, I saw one of the videos, the longer forms.
Yeah, they're
so
just
that-
long form of the
He's doing the
TikTok, yeah.
longer form version of what he does on TikTok on YouTube, but on he's doing incredible.
He had one about the Jets loss to the Chiefs. That was probably the best best defense to a loss I've ever seen. He just went in on like how the NFL was rigged and all that shit. Like it was a great watch. Like quick
Man,
watch.
if I see him, I might. Have you asked him to come on?
We've had Jack Mac on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
we
been on.
talked to Jack Mac.
Roan. Sorry, Jonathan.
No,
Roan.
you're good.
Roan is.
Oh, Roan? No, not
Oh,
Roan.
Yeah,
That's
you asked
see.
him for? No?
If I was gonna say to answer your question for me, my number one would be Nicky Clicky because that's my fucking guy.
Oh,
Like
okay,
even anytime I ever send videos to people, they're like, dude, you remind me of that guy. Like in the sense of like our like comedic timing and like the things that we do. I think he's way funnier than me and has way better timing. But people always like compare us, and I'm always like, dude, he's the funniest fucking guy in the world.
He is
Hanging out with
he's
Roan in
unbelievable.
Chicago, it was I like I said, if we could get one of those two on, that would be. And it's funny because none of us mentioned Dave or Big Cat or anything because we're not even looking there. We're looking for Roan or Nicky Clicky. Like we love those guys, So that's our white whales, really. I guess.
Right now.
So Dave and Big Cat are difficult because those guys
yeah.
literally don't have a second out of their day.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know how watching them, man. I mean,
yeah, they're just
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how, especially Dave. I can understand. Dave doesn't have kids,
Right.
and all that. Big Cat has a family.
Right, and then he's on
That
every
guy-
show.
Yeah,
Bro,
so
he
much.
is it's not even that. It's he's in the office. He's in the office at 8. He's in the office like at 8, 9, or right after he drops his kids off from school. He's in the office.
Right.
Spends the entire day just doing these interview for PMT, preparing for this, doing that. He goes just to go put his kids to bed for a second, then comes back and is streaming. He's streaming the Bears Commanders game
Right.
from 8 till mid 11.
And then he's got to record PMT
tapes
right
tapes
after.
PMT
Yeah.
till
Right.
the reaction until 1 a.m. And then he's back in the office again at 8 a.m. the following
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Saturday,
Sick.
Friday, for Saturday, he's if the college football show is out of town, he's flying to wherever they're doing the college football show. Back on Saturday, Sunday, he's on camera streaming all day.
right.
Yeah.
People
It's
people
crazy.
usually see like a big goof, but there's a lot that goes into that. Like, I mean,
He is.
he's a very hardworking man because he comes with
brother,
his
he's-
stats too. So he's always reading and keeping up on stuff
Yeah.
too. You can tell.
He's the hardest working man I have ever come across. He's on top of everything relevancy wise. He gives an opinion faster. He gives takes on big issues faster than most people in journalism while he's doing all the fucking it's crazy. It's crazy just watching him go.
Yeah, absolutely. But
It
yeah,
is nuts.
yeah,
But
when
you should
see
try.
him-
You should ask him. I'll put in a good. So Roan's tough. Roan's tough because he's in
Yeah.
he's in New York.
right.
But if I see him when I'm in New York,
We've
I'll put in a good work for you guys. But Nick is, I'm sure Nick.
I've been
Nick will come on.
I think we're trying to use Mook as that stepping stone to get into Nick
Yep.
more too. I've been tweeting out a picture daily from the Barstool Breakdown account of Mook. I had spoken with Mook. We had spoken with Mook before to get him on, but I've just been tweeting out a picture, kind of how Bussin' with the Boys does, like day 400 of Rich Eisen. Today will be day 13 of a picture of Connor Mook until he comes on the podcast. But he's liked a couple of them. He knows he's confirmed.
He's
with
agreed
us
to come
before.
on. He
So
he just needs to come on.
we're just waiting for him to get on. And Nick as well. He followed the Breakdown account. He gave me a follow on Twitter too. So I've talked to Nick a little bit too. But yeah, I'll keep poking the bear. I try not to
for us, man.
I try not to be too much like, I don't want to be like, hey man, come on, hey, you said I'm not that. I'll shoot one here and there. If I don't get a response, I don't. But like coming in the future,
I'll ask for you guys. I'll ask for you guys on Monday.
yeah, I appreciate
it,
you.
man.
I'll talk to him and put in a good word.
Yeah,
for you
that'd be
guys.
awesome.
Like, yo, they want you on, dog.
Yeah,
Go on there.
Yeah, I mean,
we're both big
figured-
blue raspberry guys for sure.
oh, for sure. You see it right here.
Blue raspberry. Blue raspberry.
And,
Oh,
the,
shit,
and the
yeah.
anus logo right there. The ground.
Oh,
My sister's like,
is that the T-shirt? That's a T-shirt that they have the T-shirt like that, right?
yeah, right
That
here.
they
That's
sold.
the blue raspberry.
I don't.
guy
I
on the
can't,
t-shirt.
dude.
Yeah.
Anus. I just don't even bother. I can't keep up with the. It's like
That's like one of my number one pods, dude. I love that
they
shit.
they make fun of you. They make fun of you while you're there. You don't realize that they're making fun of you, but you're there just listening to the whole entire conversation, not even knowing that you've already been cooked. You're a dead man.
Yeah,
It's
That's why Mook fits in so well there because he's so good at
exactly.
being that
He just
punching
take
dummy.
it.
Right.
He's a good dude. He's a good
That
dude.
is
Man.
awesome. Yeah, him and his
He's a
queen.
good dude.
So, hey, we were talking about Chicago, guys. Did you go to Nikki Smoke's housewarming party? Or is that today?
That's today.
Oh, shit. Are you
And
going?
I don't know. I can't. Did you hear about it? Did you hear how he described it? I can't.
I was
do
gonna say,
that.
I don't know if a
I
swish
ain't go
party
to
would
a
be
fucking-
good for you, man.
I
That
ain't
might
go
be
to a
tough.
sweatbox. No, hell no. I ain't go to no sweatbox.
I was gonna say you'll be
I'm intrigued, though.
dripping by the time.
I was telling TJ yesterday during the show when we were doing it. I'm like, dude, I need a live stream of that party. I will sit there.
Yeah, dude,
I will sit there.
I
and
DM'd
watch
Rudy
the
and was like,
entire stream
please
live.
post. Yeah. I kept telling Rudy, please post pictures, please post videos on your Instagram or Twitter, because I just want to know what this thing looks like. I don't even even if I just get one picture, I'd be happy, because we had Nikki Smokes on here too, honestly, and he didn't seem as crazy or goofy as he was.
You
but it's
can
kinda
tell
hilarious. I love
some
it.
of it's just a character. Yeah, you can tell he's a good dude.
Yeah. That's
For
that
touching
goes.
Kate's stomach, that's a wild fucking move. Besides that,
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. You know what the funny thing is, which I didn't want to get in the weeds. I didn't want to get in the weeds with that because then that takes away from the fun of it. But I mean, culturally, in other cultures, that's fine. I'm guessing because he's from Miami. He's an Italian kid from Miami, but like in Miami's a bunch of Hispanics. They're probably cool with that kind of thing. But it's hilarious. So he's a good dude, man.
Well,
he's
you're talking to Italian Hispanic that's from Florida, close to Miami, and I don't know if he was touching my wife's stomach, I'd be pretty fucking weirded out.
Nah, but he's from you're talking about Bonita. My man's from like Kendall, Lemons. He's from real Miami.
No, I know.
Kendall and
Yeah, no, for real, no, for sure. I have a couple friends that live in Brickell City and things like that, and like it's definitely it's a completely different world when you go over there. It's like you said, you were saying Florida's cheap. It made me laugh because I was thinking about it. I'm like, certain places. For sure.
Mary Brickell, yeah.
You go to Miami.
My brother's out in Pembroke Pines, so I'm over down in that South Florida area.
Yeah, Fasoli said he has a house in Naples. I was like, dude, hit me up, bro. Like, whatever. When you come back down here, so if you're ever in Florida, man, let me know.
that Brickell area, Las Olas, and all that joint is now so expensive, man. It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
What's going on down there.
My only other question in here was to ask you about when you got your lunch stuck in the subway door and you went the entire ride with it just sitting in the doors. But we don't even go into all that. I remember you told me, I think I DM'd you and you were like, yeah, it tasted a little bit like the food tasted a little bit like
fumes.
Gas or something. So I didn't eat it. Yeah, the fumes. That's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean,
you're like, the beer was good, right? Didn't you have a beer? You said the beer was still good, right?
I was drunk out of my mind. So that was my, it's this, I don't know if you guys have had it. If you guys have it by your ends, BB.Q, this Korean fried chicken. Yeah. Love it. I eat it I used to eat it every day almost at the old office, and had gone out. I think was I watching Arsenal? I forgot why I was partying in the city, but partying in the city on my way home, picked up some. Was trying to catch the path over to Jersey. It was a weekend, so if I had missed that, I would have had to wait 30 minutes for the next one. Whereas during the week, it's one every 5 minutes kind of thing. So I was like, so I had to get in that. Otherwise, I mean, I'm just standing there like an idiot for 30 minutes. So I hauled ass. I got in, I stopped the door. My dumbass, instead of what I should have done was once the door was stopped, put the food in first, and then I go in. But I went in first and thought I could pull a move where I swing it in, and as I was swinging it in, boom, got caught. And I was just standing there like an idiot.
Standing at the door like this.
Yes, so it's
that
it's
Twitter
the New York
thread
stop.
was like the best thing.
It's the New York stop, and it's the doors open on that side for that first New York station. There's 3 other stations that picks up people in New York, but it's the doors on the other side for all 3 that open. Yeah. The first time it opens is when you're in Jersey. First time it opens again on this side is when you're in Jersey at the stop I was getting off. So I was just literally standing at the door holding the thing, because if I'd let go, it would have slid and probably slipped out the bottom of the thing.
That's crazy.
And I wasn't losing that shit.
Yeah. Oh, you got.
No, that was that thread. I was crying, dude. I was like, "All right, give us the update. How is it?" It was so funny.
I was so pissed. And he saw me fucking coming, because you look at the guy. He's sticking his head out, looking to see if people are.
Oh, what a dick! I didn't realize that.
He probably pressed the button. He's like, "I got that motherfucker's lunch."
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, if you've got to close the doors at some point, because if you don't, they'll just be kept open the whole time.
But I appreciate you giving us our time.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me on, man. Thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed it.
Pleasure. You're the man.
It's the Barstool Breakdown. Go ahead and give it to me. Breakdown. Let's listen to those guys. Breakdown. What's happening at Barstool this week?